Hey there, in this video I'm going to go over the 9 things that you should be checking over on your website before the end of the year. My name is Yasmin Robles with Robles Designs, where we create drill-worthy websites and brands for entrepreneurs who are hell-bent on taking over the world. And we do have a freebie for you. So if you go to roblesdesigns.com/checklist, you'll be able to download a PDF where you can cross off all the fun things that you need on your website, from a 404 page to the basics of SEO to how to organize the pages. And so this will help you whether you're building out your website right now or whether you are having someone build it out, or if you just want to make sure that you actually did everything that you needed to do on your site. That is roblesdesigns.com/checklist. Okay, so the first thing that you should be updating on your website, or at least checking over, are all of the links. So you'll want to go through your pages and just kind of ensure that the links are still appropriate. So for example, on blog posts, you can say, okay, well, a lot of these links are actually going to the wrong place, or I don't have this freebie anymore. What you can do is create a 301 redirect and change those links so that you don't have to actually go and manually change them. You can if you have time, but you can create a 301 redirect, or you can just kind of think about, are these links actually working for me? So for example, if you are on the About page and you realize that you're linking to an old Meet the Team page, you might want to change that out. So kind of just go through, check the links, make sure they're still active, make sure they're still supporting your strategy in the business, and change them up if needed. The next one is a little similar, but it's mostly based on your call to action and the strategy behind it. So you'll want to make sure that you're going onto your main pages. Depending on how many pages you have on your site, you can go through all of them or just the top level ones, and look at the call to actions and see if they've been working for you and if they get to change. So for example, if on your home page you have been linking to something like a service that is no longer available, or you don't really want to offer anymore, you might want to change that out. If your freebie or your opt-in is different now, you'll want to change that call to action out. And even if these offerings, if you're still offering a service, but it is not your primary thing, maybe you're now launching a course, you'll want to start shifting the strategy behind that. Let's say, for example, the homepage, you'll want to start changing the strategy of where all the links, all the call to action buttons are located on the page. And that means just reorganizing it, seeing where all the CTAs, call to action buttons, are, and seeing where they can be the most beneficial for you. Next up, it's time to review the testimonials. And if you've been doing things the right way, you've probably been getting a lot of testimonials on like Google or maybe Facebook. And this is the great opportunity where you can go onto your website, look at the testimonials you have on there, and think about switching them out. It's not necessary for you to switch them out, but it does bring some freshness to the site, especially in the new year or the new quarter. Whenever you're turning a new leaf, you want to make sure you keep that fresh. But if it is a testimonial that does speak really well of you or really well to your services, if it has some of the keywords that you need in there, then by all means keep it. You might even be able to ask the person who left the testimonial for a headshot to just make it a little bit more inviting. You could even go back and say, hey, your testimonial has been great on my site. Would you mind doing a video testimonial as well? So you can kind of bring in that freshness with the testimonials, but you can still have that proof, that social proof that you are active, that you are doing amazing work, that you're offering amazing products, and just again, keeping the site fresh. This next one is a little bit more businessy strategy slash website. So you want to look at your offerings and see which one is actually bringing you the most money, and if that's what you're actually promoting on your website. So for example, I offer full website creations. We also offer a VIP day, and so those are just 2 of the offerings that we have. We have courses and all that other stuff, but we can create a website for you from scratch, or we can give you a VIP day. If we have other items, so for example, yes, I can definitely maintain your website on a monthly basis. I do have clients where I work on their email stuff. I create social media graphics and schedule it. But it's not necessarily what I want to offer on the site. It's not the main strategy for the business. The business is mainly off of VIP days for people who just want one day session, or it's a full website recreation. And so on my website, I'm not necessarily going to be listing out all of the other stuff that I do. It's going to clutter and it's not part of the business strategy. Now, if I were doing a review of my site, because, it's a new quarter or a new year, then what I would do is say, okay, what offerings do I have on here? Oh, okay, I see that I have the VIP day, I have the website offering, but I also have this miscellaneous offerings, all of these things, and that's not where I want the business to go, even though maybe that's where I make some money. Maybe that's not where I want the business to go. So then I would just go and hide those pages or remove them completely and remove any call to actions to those pages, so that I can streamline my offerings and the services. So that way, if a new person comes in, maybe they heard about me offering those things and they could potentially ask. But again, my business is being streamlined to these two things, not to all of the other things that might be cluttering my life. The next thing to review is your freebie. And you want to see how it functioned in the past. Did it get a lot of traction? And if you need to either edit the actual freebie or edit the call to action for it, edit how you're calling it out on any page. And so these will contain a couple things. So if the freebie has been gaining a lot of traction on your site, that means your call to action has been great. You've been promoting it. That's perfect. But perhaps the PDF, if it is a PDF, needs to be updated. Or if it's a free course, maybe the free course needs to be tweaked a little bit. So you want to just kind of have an overview of that freebie and see if it's still going to be enticing and if it funnels people to become clients or purchase from you or whatever that may be. For example, I have the roblessdesigns.com/checklist, and it is a very general checklist for entrepreneurs and their website, but it's serving a couple purposes. It helps people who are DIYing their site kind of get an idea of what exactly they need on that website, and it can funnel them into my course if needed. It can also help if people are potential clients and they have built out their site and they realize that they need a VIP day because they did things wrong, or a lot of these things are on their to-do list and they haven't been able to get to them. So it serves a couple purposes. There can be other freebies that might only serve one purpose or that have been a little bit outdated, and that's when I would, if I were you, go in and redo the PDF, or if it's an email sequence kind of thing, redo the emails, whatever is needed, but keep it updated and fresh. Next, go into the contact page and make sure that your information is still accurate and that the form is still functioning. This page gets lost sometimes, it gets forgotten, and you might change your email address, you might change some of the social media links, you might change where you're located, you might not be located in the same state, but you might have gone remote. So if you have changed any of that, just kind of get a quick glance at the contact page, edit the information, test out the form, and just ensure that everything is still functioning great. The next thing is social media links. Sometimes we end up changing the username or the business name on social media. So for example, mine, I could not find Robles Designs for Instagram, so mine is at Robles Design Studio. But when I was building out my website, I didn't check that, and so I had been linking to at Robles Designs for Instagram instead of Robles Design Studio. So when I went and did an overview, I was able to catch that and change it before I went live. So you kind of want to go through and make sure your social media links are still accurate. If there's been any changes in the business, you want to go in and set those up. I also recommend removing links to social media platforms that you don't generally use a lot, especially if the links are prominent. So for example, if you have an Instagram feed on your site, but you don't actually update it very often, then I would probably remove that feed because it's just becoming stagnant and it's almost like telling people that you're active on a platform when you're actually not. It can be a little misleading when they see a post that you put up last year as your latest post. The next thing you want to update is the About page, especially the bios. So typically manifestos, mission statements, value statements, those don't generally change, but what you want to ensure that you're checking are the bios. These change because of the years of experience that you might have on there. You might not necessarily be part of an organization anymore. You might not be supporting X, Y, and Z anymore. And so you want to check the bios and make sure that they are still accurate. Then check your teams. So if you do have team members that you put up on your website, you want to ensure that they're still actively on your team and on the website. Or if you have new team members come in, that you're adding them to that page. So again, just kind of browse over your About page, make sure everything is still accurate and ready for the next season. Finally, you'll want to go through the main pages of your website and take a look at the images. If you are still utilizing images from a couple years ago, think about when the best time would be to get a new brand photo shoot done. Or if it is stock images, go ahead and check out some of the free stock images available on things like pexels.com, or purchase some stock images that you can utilize for your business. And this will just bring in some freshness into the website, and you don't have to do them all. So don't be fearful that you have to go and download 20 images. You really just need to look at the higher level pages, and then on those high level pages, which images need to be changed out the most. It's usually the ones at the top. You can also do something where you can swap images. So the one from the top can go down and swap places from one that's below. So just kind of think of it that way. Bring in some freshness. Headshots, definitely you should see if you can schedule headshot sessions for you and your team and update those on the About page. But for the rest of the site, you can definitely just swap out the place of where some of the images are located, and that should bring in some newness to the site. That is it. Make sure to keep your website fresh and with some newness by just kind of following this checklist. And as I mentioned before, if you want to download the actual checklist, go to roblesdesigns.com/checklist, where you can go through and not only with these items that I ran through, but also go through the PDF and cross off things like, yes, do I have a 404 page? Yes. Do I have the basics of SEO down? Yes. You might be missing this other page. Okay, great. Now we can add it to our to-do list. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and I will catch you in the next video.